Aloha, this is Durrani Akashic, Activation Catalyst, Oracle, Soul Guide, and fellow Starseed, host for Unleash Your Cosmic Power, a podcast exclusively for Starseeds on a mission. Get ready, my fellow Starseeds, to embark upon an extraordinary adventure of being in a body on Earth. Together, we'll dive deep into the mysteries of the universe to help you remember your cosmic origins, explore the vast realms of consciousness, and help awaken you to your multidimensionality and personal soul mission. We will be encouraging you to take that guided action from your higher self to fulfill your divine purpose and unlock your cosmic potential as you gain the courage to face everything that stands in the way of anchoring your divine expression and embodying your higher self to create a life that mirrors your authentic soul desire, inner fulfillment, and the abundance and prosperity that you've always dreamed of. Love and joy, just the way that you were meant to. Hi guys, welcome to the third episode of Unleash Your Cosmic Power. In this podcast episode, I'm going to talk about a few different things, downloads that I've gotten from the galactic team, from my higher self, things that I've been going through, and of course I'm going to bring it down to earth because I want this information to be practical and of use and service to you because that's the whole point. So I continued this week with my astrological findings, and I was trying to figure out the charts and how I can relate those back again to my psychic awareness and try to solidify it a little bit more. And I've also been trying to figure out how the charts work together and what energies are really trying to be expressed in a person's life. And what I came to realize in conjunction with the eclipse is that all energy wants to be expressed. Energy wants to accomplish its purpose, and then it wants to be transformed. So once an energy is activated within you, and once it gets to be acknowledged, and once it accomplishes what it's meant to do, then it's willing to dissolve and evolve into the next level version of itself. So right now, there's energies in you that want to take part in your life because you are these things. They are a part of you, and they're just the unexpressed aspects of yourself that are like hiding out in the shadows. They have no place in your life right now. So maybe you've created a life where everything is very rigid and restrictive, and there's only certain acceptable roles that you're allowed to play in your everyday life. But at the same time, maybe you have other aspects of you that want to be expressed, and there's no place for them to be expressed in your life. And these aspects of yourself could be called your shadow. Your shadow is going to be acting out. Your shadow is very closely related to the untamed, unruly inner child within you. But it's not necessarily your inner child. It's the unexpressed parts of you, the ones that belong to you, and the ones that are not getting to do their job. They're not getting to be expressed. It's like the things that you carry within your genetic coding. Generally, you can choose what to express. But if they're very strong things, then they will find a way to be expressed one way or another. If it's like, so you can express things in a positive way or in a negative way. If you suppress and leave them in the shadows, most likely they will be expressed as self-sabotaging behavior, addictions, something that will derail whatever it is you're trying to build. Because guess what? Your inner child is going to be like, hey, I need attention and love too, and I need my own joy and my own happiness, and you need to pay attention to me right now. So I'm going to create this health crisis. I'm going to create this addiction crisis. I'm going to create all kinds of chaos in your life unless you pay attention. And that's what happens with the unexpressed parts of you. So you really need to listen before it gets to that point. So in understanding your astrology chart, I like what Nikolai Stojanovic said, and he said, there's no bad aspects in astrology if you know how to work with the energies. And his whole theory is that you have to express the energies that are in your natal chart one way or another. It's about how you work with them and how you allow them to be expressed within your life that determines whether they become a huge issue or a minor one. So, for example, I think he gave this remedy to somebody who was married, and she only fought with her husband when they were in the home. But when they weren't at home, they got along wonderfully. So what happened is that she had an unexpressed Mars in her 4th house. He recommended paint the front door of her house red, because that way she would be expressing the energy of Mars within her home, so that she wouldn't have to be fighting her husband all the time when they were home, because they got along great when they weren't there. And that totally helped to resolve her issue. So that's just an example of energy that wants to be expressed and acknowledged in some form in your life, and the way that you can take it and give it a positive expression, or the type of expression where it doesn't hurt you and it just gets to be expressed anyway because it was in her chart, meaning it's a part of her it's an energy that she's carrying, that she's holding, and she chose how to express it in a very simple way. So what you want to do in your life is find ways to express all of the energies in your chart, in your makeup, the energies that are actually making up your identity. And you want to express them in ways that you can easily handle, in ways that you can maneuver, that do not completely derail your life. All energy wants to do is be in its right place. Again, going back to that analogy I made a while ago about how you can have angels in heaven expressing the beauty and the joy and the glory of God, feeling free and happy. And you can have demons in hell that just want to be like demonic and evil and play with that type of energy. And they're perfectly at home doing that. And so what parts of you are hiding out in the shadows? I invite you to take a look at that. What parts of you are you suppressing? What parts of you are not getting expressed in the type of life that you have currently built for yourself? So a lot of times we're focused on the manifestation of something. So we want to fill our cup with something external, and we're focused on attracting that which we feel we don't have. And a lot of times the things that you're trying to attract is a type of energy that does not wish to be contained, because it's expansive energy. You have to realize that, especially when it comes to partnerships, you can't just drape your dreams over someone hoping that they become the person that you want them to be. You can't just try to contain them because they will run from you. And their essence will run, and it won't show up in your life. Even if you get general about it, the more that you chase something with the energy of lack, the less it wants to be around. Because what we all want, and you can give energy a personality, if this makes more sense to you. But whether it's a person or just the energy itself, it wants to evolve. It wants to expand into the next levels of itself. So containing something is against its very nature, because the energy, it just wants to be expansive and be in the right place and create. So if you try to contain that type of energy, it would stop being true to its essence, and it would stop being true to its own magic. And the same thing happens when you try to contain people. If you try to contain someone's magic and shape them into whatever you want them to be, especially when it comes to a relationship between equals, or between partners, I'm not talking about like parent-child type relationships. If you're talking about partnerships that are more equal between adults, then trying to contain one person is not going to work, because you can't force the essence of that which you actually love to become something other than itself, because that's not actual love. What you would be loving in that case is your version of them. You'd be loving something other than what you currently have, which is not that person. And so you have to honor your desire and not drape your dreams over another being to cover their own magical magnetic essence because you don't like it or because it hurts you. So now you're probably wondering, like, how does this relate to my birth chart, to healing? Okay, so what I'm saying is that you came to this planet to be a fully expressed being, to express the totality of your organic architecture in this 3D realm. And your unique blueprint which is how God created you to flow energy, to flow the light of God, the vital life force of God flowing through you. It is going through your organic blueprint. And each and every lifetime, you have the choice of whether to align to that or to choose something else that is different. And each time that you make a choice, it's either in alignment or out of alignment with who you truly are at soul level, with the energy that is getting sent to you from God. And so the more vital life force you have, the more energy that you have for organic creation and self-expression, you're basically embodying the energy of God as you. You're embodying your 3D embodiment of the energy of your higher self here on earth. And so when we come to earth and we're trying to be that expression of ourselves, the highest expression, that's going to require us to look at what we have created so far. And we can either look at that through the patterns that we're currently experiencing, so like karmic circumstances that we might want to change, but maybe have had difficulty changing. Or you want to look at something like a natal birth chart and see what types of challenges and patterns you were born into so that you can maximize what is already written in your stars and look at where you are today and where you want to go and how you can use the energies of your makeup to actually navigate your life. And you can use the help of astrologers, you can use the help of healers, you can obviously connect to your higher self, and you can use psychic intuition to properly decipher exactly how you can be the most fully expressed version of your higher self here on earth now. We might think that we know a person better than they know themselves. It doesn't matter, because to flow vital life force through the organic architecture of their soul as they were created by God's source is a choice that they have to make for themselves. And that can be really hard to understand when you think that you know so much and you think that you know what the right choice is for a person. But the thing is that this choice to be an embodiment of their authentic blueprint or not to be has to be respected as valid, even if they choose something which you see as an inferior choice, an inferior path, something that you think they shouldn't be messing around with. You have to remember that the overriding law is that of free will choice, and you have to respect it. So when it comes to you and the things that you're trying to attract in your life, the things that you're chasing because you feel like you lack it or you don't have it or you're after it because instead of wanting to expand, you want it to fill you, those things are probably going to run. And so it's like you're trying to hold that which does not wish to be held or contained. And if that's the case, like when you're trying to attract energies into your life of love, abundance, or something else, you have to align your intention and your words to match, because it's basically the vehicle of your entire emotional energy. And so you have to direct the vehicle of your intention and your overall emotional energy aligning with your words, with your sounds, with the things that you speak every day. Because that adds up to create a frequency, and that frequency is actually a key that opens up the doors to your new reality and the possibility that you've been trying to manifest. And so what I'm saying is that it's up to you to do that, to create the right frequency key based on how you're aligning with your intent, with the overall emotional energy, and your words, with what you speak, the sounds that you make every day. So here's where a lot of people would call in gaslighting, and they'd say that speaking of only that which you wish to see or speaking positively equals blindsiding yourself as to what the reality is. And that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about actually speaking in ways that reaffirm your conviction of what it is you're trying to manifest, which you cannot do authentically unless you deal with the underlying emotional energy behind it. So I'm not just saying for you to say the grass is purple or blue or the sky is orange, because those things are not true and it just carries the emotional frequency of lies. I'm talking about you have to find ways to deal with the underlying emotions that you naturally feel, and then deal with them, integrate them, so that when you speak about the reality that you're actually trying to manifest, it is in alignment with your emotions. It is in alignment with the things that you're saying, because words are very, very powerful. So it involves you actually dealing with what you feel in the reality that you're experiencing. I'm saying you have to process what you're feeling so that it authentically matches up and aligns with your words, so that you can speak about it in a positive way, so that you can reframe it, but also so that you can integrate the lesson. You're the kind of person that feels like you have to attract something externally, or you really want to play with that specific energy. You have to understand that the things that are evading you, they're evading you because they are not the kind of energy that wishes to be held in a box. It is expansive energy. Things like love, things like money, things like abundance, all of these things want to be expanded into the next level layers. They are catalysts. And so the way that you attract them into your life is that you have to have the intention of playing with the essence of that which they truly are. As a person, you want to invite them to play with you. You don't want to invite them to come and problems, or because that's like taking energy away. It's subtracting energy. It's subtracting from the essence when the essence of it is to actually expand. And the things that want to expand, those types of people, those types of energy, they will flourish in the field of playfulness. They don't want to have to fill in the gaps created by your own self-imposed neediness, because it will just run the other way. It wants to expand. However, they will come into a field of playfulness where the space has already been set, where the energy is full, and where it's ready for expansion, where in essence, they will be acknowledged for what they truly are, and in being acknowledged, will evolve. Invite creativity to play. Invite money to play. Invite love, beauty, life. Invite magic to play. And you have to set the space for it. Everything that you seek to find will come into this field of playfulness. What you're being asked to do is to realize that you have full control over how you manage the energy in your life. You look at your DNA, at your genetic makeup, if you look at your star chart, if you get a reading from someone, they're going to tell you what you're like and what you're working with, right? What patterns you currently have. So you're going to look at those patterns and you're going to say, well, my intention is to create more love, or my intention is to create abundance. So then you have to ask yourself, okay, how can I prepare and set the field to invite those energies which I want to expand with? How do I set that field? If you set the field properly, you will come to realize that perhaps if everything is already inside of you, and it is, because God would not create you in lack, what that means is that you already hold everything that you want within you. And if you are experiencing unsatisfactory conditions within the holographic movie of your life, what is happening is that there's energies within you, within your field, and we will call it a playful field. There's energies in here that want to be acknowledged and transformed. And so instead of attracting and pulling things from an external source, what you are being invited to do right now is to look inside of your personal field and ask yourself, what energies need to be transformed so that I can create the proper magnetic resonant alignment to invite more energy of a particular flavor, such as love, such as abundance, to come into this field that I already am? Or how can I transform the negative expression of that which I desire into a positive polarity, into its next level version? So for example, if you're trying to attract abundance, then I would encourage you to, first of all, be grateful, because that right there, gratitude, automatically shifts you from a place of lack to a place of abundance. Energetically, gratitude, you have it, you got it. So if you're trying to shift something like poverty, you want to shift into the energy of gratitude, but not only be grateful for like the things that you do have, because there might be a lot of things you don't have. You want to be grateful for your ability to transform poverty itself. So if you look at the energy of things like poverty, or a lack of love, that's what you're trying to transform within yourself. That's what you want to invite from the shadows. That's what's hiding out. That's what is seeking to become its positive next level polarity, because that's what you want. And you are the god of your own little universe, of your own world. So let's transform something like poverty. What you want to do is you want to invite this energy and you want to ask it, like, what does it feel like, right? Invite it to come out from the shadows, from the things that you don't want to look at, and look at how it's impacted your life. And you want to see what sort of effects it's caused. And you want to go back to understanding, how has it positively affected you, the evolution of your soul's experience here on earth? How has that which you are seeking to transform right now served to elevate or to teach your soul about a specific type of energy? Because it's all just a theme, and your soul is exploring all kinds of themes here on earth. And in its exploration, it's going to explore the positive polarity of something and the negative polarity of it. So with things like love, you will experience very loving relationships, and maybe you'll experience the lack of love, or certain particular kinds of love within your relationships, because your soul is getting to understand things from different perspectives. It's exploring the theme of love through having it and through not having it. Or if it comes to abundance, your soul is exploring the theme of the positive polarity, which would be to have an abundance of resources to make as many choices as you can that, ideally would reflect the authentic you. Or your soul has been exploring and playing around with the theme of lack, of not having choices, of what happens when you don't have a lot of choices, and what does your soul do then, right? So maybe you have been experiencing that, and you want to acknowledge whatever it is. You want to acknowledge it for its work, and you want to find the positive in it, because nothing is there to hurt you. Everything, whether it's being expressed in a negative polarity or in a positive polarity, it has helped you to grow, because God didn't create this playground of life for you to be a loser, or for you to have this horrible experience. This was created for you to understand who you truly are under all circumstances. This was created for you to fully embody the energy of God that you carry within yourself here on earth under all circumstances. And this was created even as like a test for you to understand, what do you do in these circumstances? Are you strong enough to maintain integrity even in the harshest situations? And if not, how can you strengthen that? So everything is serving you right now. And if you're instead of trying to attract something external, you want to transform what you already have within you and come to the realization that you already have everything that you seek within you. You just need to transform something in order to shift the frequency key of your entire being, so that it can allow the proper energies to flow into you, to flow into your desire. So the way that I see it, it's like you're an individual with your own individual membrane, and you're experiencing this realm as an individual fractal of God, we'll say. And within the field of yourself, we'll call it an egg. Within this field, you are self-contained, and this field is permeable. So energy can go in and out. And so when I say, look at everything that you are holding right now and see what you can transmute from within, what I'm saying is, you can create the membrane of your energy field permeable to the energy of abundance in the ways that you want by shifting and transforming what energy you already hold within yourself. Because that inner transformation actually has an effect on all of your energetic bodies, so that you can, your body, it's almost like, it's hard for me to describe in human terms, but the way that I see it, it's like this egg, the energy that contains your being. Let's look at it as an egg. And in this egg, there's all of the patterns of possibility exist within it. And all of the patterns of possibility, I'm seeing it as like white light with like these golden patterns of energy just flowing through it. So all of these patterns of energy can be activated at any time by you, who is God experiencing its own universe as an individuated version, right? And so you get to decide which patterns of this entire egg, this entire universe, you are going to play with in every lifetime. And you will most likely play with all of them at some point. You're an eternal soul with, time doesn't really exist. So you can have however long you want to explore what it's like to be an individual contained within this universal egg. And so when you're trying to attract a specific kind of experience into your life, you have to shift the energy within you by acknowledging what it has done for you, how it has been a gift, and invite it to become its next level version. And when this energy within you agrees to make that transformational alchemical shift into its next level of form, that creates the internal space within you that shapes the external hologram of your reality to reflect this internal shift of energy transformation. And so that's what I mean by you already have everything within you. That's what I mean by you just have to transform what you already have so that the field around you changes, so that the membrane of energy that you're encased in can now be permeable to more energy from God's source in those exact frequencies that you have inner transformed, that you have alchemized from within to be susceptible to. And that is what I'm talking about by you don't chase the energy, you create the internal shifts within yourself by setting the field to playfulness. And even within this field of playfulness lies your healing, the transformation of everything that you want to heal. And what do I mean by that? What I mean is that even things like trauma that are just hiding out in the shadows can be transformed when you invite them into this playful light of awareness, where you're just curious and you want to see what its gift is. So you invite whatever is hiding out within you that you're unsure of. You invite the shadows into the field of play, and you play with the essence as it is. So you look at it and you acknowledge it for its gift. You are the God within your world. And as God source within you, you get to discover what the gift is. So instead of saying like, God, why am I going through this? You get to say, I see what you have done for me. Thank you, pattern. Thank you, addiction. Thank you, crazy childhood. Thank you, like bad relationship. Thank you for what you've done. Thank you. I can see that this is a pattern that I can now change. And so you invite the energies of those patterns to shift. So here's where having really healing relationships can be very helpful. There's a lot of depth that you can shine the light upon and explore together with someone that wants to do this kind of work with you. It's heavy work, but it can be done. And you can do this by yourself as well. The whole point is that you want to light the dark spaces in your own consciousness or in each other's consciousness. Those dark, shadowy areas that have been longing to be looked at, to be recognized. And it's almost like you're taking the dense pockets of energy and inviting them to be part of the tapestry that is your soul's expressive form. And in giving these shadow aspects of you life, then they can be useful. Then they will be allowed to experience what it's like to be part of you, because they are parts of you that want to be expressed. And once they're done, then they'll be willing to transform. But it can only happen in the light of your own loving awareness. And if you can do this with a partner, then that's even more amazing, because you can do it for each other and together and help each other to see through blind spots. But transformation, it wants to be fun. Everything wants to have fun. It doesn't have to be this serious thing, even though it can be. It can also be like role playing. It can be a process of creation. What emotional colors do you want to use next in your beautiful tapestry and your beautiful artwork? What musical tones do you want to add to this song? How are you inspired to move? So you want to awaken all of these aspects within yourself, or within yourself and another partner, or within yourself and your coworkers or your team or whoever it is you're leading. You are the leader here. And in doing that, not only are you connecting with your shadow aspects and learning to integrate them and preparing the field of your energy to actually create the things that you want, but you're also having fun while you're doing it, which is the whole point. You want to have fun. That's why you came here. When you take the perspective of thanking these energies, and you can see the people as energy or the energy as people, whatever you want to do. But when you see people as energy, it becomes more neutralized so that you don't feel as angry if it was a negative experience for you. And you just thank it for its role and the role that it's played in your life. And in thanking it, it's like that is your free teacher. You didn't have to pay $5,000 to learn that lesson, or maybe you paid a lot more, who knows, depending on what the karmic circumstances were. But that has been your teacher. So you thank it for what it has taught you, and you allow it to go on its way. Say, thank you, I'm done playing with this energy now. Goodbye. And it will transform if you're truly done playing with it. Because in reality, all energy seeks to expand and transform. And the best way that you can do this is to be playful about it. So if you want to hold the infinite, if you want to hold energy that doesn't wish to be contained or held down, then you have to create the internal setting within yourself that creates a field of playfulness. So that in this space, those things that are really expansive can come in, be what they were truly meant to be, play the role that they're meant to play in your life, can be witnessed and loved and appreciated for what they are, and then invited to be more. Because once the purpose is set, that energy probably will want to become something else. And you can take note of how well you are guiding the speed of your own light body throughout this journey of consciousness, throughout this journey of manifesting that which you desire, that which you don't desire. Because sometimes you can get into a space of manifestation where everything you want is happening. And then some part of you freaks out and it creates some sort of sabotage, because it's like, wait, why is everything going so good? Is something bad going to happen? And so that's an aspect of your shadow self. And even that aspect, you want to invite it to come out and play. And you want to say like, hey, I see you. What are you trying to tell me? And you want to go into experiences with it, like, oh, I see. So the last time that everything went super well for me, this bad thing happened and I didn't see it coming, and you tried to warn me. Okay, I see this. Thank you so much for trying to keep me safe. So you acknowledge the energy for what it's done for you, and then you can calm it and soothe it, and you could say, okay, thanks for chiming in at this time. I can take it from here and it's all good. And sometimes that's all that the energy needs. And I'm not saying that you're going to get rid of these anxious patterns or these energies entirely, because maybe you don't need to get rid of them. Maybe they do serve a purpose that you need. Maybe your soul is not done playing with them. And so they might just pop up and then, sit back down the moment you acknowledge them. Just pay attention to the things that want to deliver a message, and acknowledge the message, and then decide what you want to do with it, because you are in control. Something I've noticed with people who can manifest really quickly is that you tend to press the brakes by creating a crisis or something chaotic in your life because everything's going so well, and it's like you start to get scared, and your light body just starts to go so fast, and it's like, oh my god, maybe I'll be done with my human experience and I'll reach ascension, and then I'll have to leave this planet, and I'm not quite ready for that. So you go and you do something crazy that actually gets you stuck here for who knows, lifetimes, right? So you want to take it at a speed that you can handle. And whenever there's a shadow aspect of you that wants you to pay attention to it, please try. So when you're healing yourself, you might notice that you come up to patterns that are more ancient, more genetic. And then that's where your own personal healing is going to overlap into more of a collective consciousness type of healing. And at that point, you're probably going to start transmuting things on a collective layer. If you're being presented with an issue that actually affects all of humanity, what you want to look at with the help of your higher self is you want to acknowledge what this pattern has done for humanity. And you want to ask yourself, how is human consciousness going to be evolving collectively? What is the highest version that we can evolve this particular pattern into? So this question of where is human consciousness headed is trying to be answered and manipulated by various forces in the universe, including negative ETs, positive ETs, and different galactic groups within our universe. And they're all very interested in the evolution of consciousness on Earth. It's like such a crazy, interesting experiment. And what I've been shown recently is that, and this probably makes sense for a lot of you that have been doing this work for a long time, but different beings within our own universe. So these are not the most evolved beings. These are beings that are similar to our level of consciousness, but have access to different dimensional layers because they might not have the same limits as us. And they come from different timelines. And so if a being comes from a different timeline, we might not perceive it exactly as 3D the way that we can perceive you and I. But there's different beings that are trying to make sure that their versions of the world, with their laws, with their genetic encoding, basically their creations, can survive. So the negative ET groups, they will take over certain parts of the galaxy. And this is where it sounds sort of fictitious, but I've had so many personal experiences with this that it's pretty undeniable for me at this point. Certain groups have taken over different parts of the galaxy in different galaxies, different constellations, different parts of the universe, and they are interested in directing the evolution of consciousness and the next level, how many beings are existing within this universe and how many beings are exiting this universe and going into the next version, into the next expanded layers. When you look at the astrological charts of someone, you will see various influences. Something that I've been researching a lot recently has to do with the galactic pole and the center of the galaxy within the Milky Way. And I've been noticing patterns within my own life by analyzing the charts of different people that I've interacted with, that I have also seen markers within their charts pointing to them coming from very specific parts of the galaxy and to them having specific roles within those particular teams of ET consciousness. Since they are trying to sabotage the souls that come in here to influence the evolution of this planet, for example, there's souls here that have incarnated to help wake up the others. There's groups of different starseeds that have come to help resolve the negativity that is experienced here by humanity. They are all about freedom. Like, let's have sovereign free will choice because that's the way that God intended. And there's a group of ETs that have learned to profit from the slave matrix, the chaos, from controlling resources, from having systems on Earth and off-world that don't really serve the collective evolution of our spirit. Those are the beings that are sabotaging the souls that have come into this planet. So these are the beings that will infiltrate the energies of others to basically impact the souls that are actually incarnated on earth in negative ways. I've been noticing patterns. I'm deciphering this more and more as I study different astrological charts. There's certain groups of beings that have had very negative impacts for myself and my life. It is now clear to me what parts of the galaxy they're coming from. And I can also tell where they are going depending on where their North Node is. And there's so many different kinds of charts that you can make with astrology, but not even that. Like, that's just something that I recently got into. This has been going on for a really long time. And so if you have people that have come into your life and created chaos and sabotaged it, more than likely you have been targeted because you are a high-level soul with a lot to share. Where if you had just the right circumstances, like the right resources or the right support, maybe you would be like creating amazing things for humanity, for the world. How these people get infiltrated and sabotaged is they will target your weaknesses. So you have weaknesses based on your weak karmic points and traumatic events that have happened to you in this lifetime or in other lifetimes. So say, for example, in a different life, your whole town was decimated and burned to the ground, and you had these like raiders come in and, take your women, or maybe you were a woman or a child, and so you had the option of becoming a slave or dying. And so maybe some of you might have chosen to become a slave over dying, or a slave over having nothing, right? So that in itself, that choice to go against your own divinity might mean that choice will be rippling out, because time isn't linear. And so that choice, if it has a very strong impact on your soul, it will be rippling out and impacting other lifetimes around you. You will be faced with a similar choice in different lifetimes. Do you have to be a slave to something for you to survive? That choice is presented to you over and over and over again until you go back consciously to make the choice that aligns with the truth of who you are, the truth of your soul, which is that nobody should have to be a slave, that you deserve freedom, because freedom is what God wills for everyone. And so you have to go back and recorrect that. And you can do this through meditation. You can do it consciously. Even if you don't know like what lifetime it was, if you notice that is a pattern within your life, that is where you get back into your energy field of playfulness to analyze those patterns and say, okay, thank you so much, program of slavery. Thank you so much, program of hiding out from truth. Thank you, blinders. I don't need you anymore. I see what you've done for me. I see the effect that playing with this type of energy has had on myself and others and people I care about in my life. I am no longer interested in playing with you. Thank you. I acknowledge you. You have to be dissolved. What would you like to be created into next? What is the next level version of you? So you can ask it, or you can command it, and you can just do it. That's one way that you can transmute and find healing. Whatever it is that you're trying to manifest already exists within you, just to sum it up, and is being experienced in either its negative or positive polarity. If you are trying to manifest new circumstances into your life, first, you want to look at what needs to be transmuted and alchemized from within you. In order to look at those particular patterns and integrate the shadow aspects, basically the lesson, you have to set the field to be playful so that you're able to examine even some of the most horrible things that have happened to you or to collective humanity, so that you can take the perspective of the objective observer, see what the effect was before you can transmute it, so that you're able to acknowledge it without that emotional fuel that can push you in directions that you don't want to go. Everything you want is within you. You only need to acknowledge what you do have and help it to transform, so that the permeability of your individuated membrane, the golden web of your being, this golden egg, can allow those things to flow to you. So we have to heal the individual layers of ourselves and look at the shadow. But for me, I am a very playful person, and I know that God is playful because I have my individual relationship with God, as do you. But for me, God is playful and funny and full of love and joy. And so that is how I experience God. And I know that when I'm in those energies, that's how God's energy flows through me. I have had this contact with God where I got tired of suffering and I said, no, I want to experience joy. This is my new contract with you, God. Joy and love and pleasure is what I want in my life. And so that is how I grow. So when I tap into those energies, that's when the energy starts to really flow for me. And that's when I get all of those downloads. Even if I'm doing something hard, like working out, if I'm having a really difficult workout, somehow that turns into pleasure and I get those downloads. And so what I want you to think about is, what is your individual contract with God right now, and how are you going to shift it into something that you want? Another way that you can look at this is you can look at your astrological chart, look at everything that's going on in there. You could use the natal one since it's like the simplest one, but if you want to get into really advanced astrology, you can consult an expert or try to study it yourself. But you want to look at what energies you're working with, and then you want to give them expression, acknowledgement, and the ability to play a role, because that's what they're there to do, so that they can evolve and transform. Because if you don't give them that role to play when they are a part of you, then they will manifest as chaotic situations. They will materialize in your life in their negative version because they're pissed off, because they're supposed to be a part of you and you're not letting that aspect of you be expressed. It's going to create sabotage. So I really suggest that you look at what you have, what is in your field, what is in your chart, what is in your patterning, and play with that energy. It is not there to hurt you. It is not there to harm you. It is not there to create lack. It just, if there's something that you're not finding, it's there. It just needs to be transformed. It needs to be invited to evolve into the next level layer of itself. So maybe you're diverting all of your energy into one area of your life and the other areas of your life are lacking. Well, you just need to find ways to divert more energy into those areas. Transform the way that you are interacting with the ingredients, the talents, and everything that you already have. When it comes to relationships, part of understanding your partner and a person is understanding what energies they're playing with, what energies are in their field. God gave everyone the same amount of energy. You're understanding what energies a person is carrying and how what they're like, even though they can at any time collapse what they've created and create something new, you want to understand what you're working with, what energies they currently hold, what they're having, and how it's getting expressed within them. What is lying in the shadows for them? What haven't they given a voice to that might come out and like create sabotage? What is the unhealed aspects of a person, and how will their unhealed aspects interact with your unhealed or healed aspects of yourself? And so it can get like really complex when you try to bring in more people into this understanding. Is this person willing to look at their all of the energies of the totality of who they are, of themselves? And is this person willing to transform into the next level of themselves that they signed up with their higher self to transform into? It's about both people working with all of those energies within their own chart, within their own Akashic record. Again, energy, it's just playing, it's creating. We're in a field of playful creation. And yes, it can have very negative manifestations. Yes, there's lots of negative beings, negative people on earth, negative ETs that want control, negative ETs that have taken over specific areas in the universe physically, that are influencing the energy flow of those planets, and then those planets are influencing the beings all throughout the universe, the beings on Earth. It's like, how is your Neptune interacting with all your other planets? Like that is how they can also create sabotage, by putting people together that are just going to create chaos in your life, by pulling people into your life that don't belong there, that are really coming and serving those negative ETs. There's ways that you can understand what is going on in your life. Why are you experiencing it this way? There's ways for you to actually manifest the things that you want through alchemy. Yes, it's true. There's negative ETs and evil in the world, and there's a way to find alignment. What an exciting time to be living on this human playground. I want to invite you to ask yourself, what is the next level of you wanting to create? And what is your inner child wish to experience next? Because no matter what you are creating, even if you don't want to exist, you are creating situations in which you don't exist, in which you don't matter. That's just what you're going to create, because no matter what, you're going to be creating until you cease to have a human body here on earth, and until you stop the whole reincarnation process, you will probably exist in some form. So no matter what, like, you are creating an experience. So whether that experience is you don't want to exist and you end up creating life situations where your needs don't matter and you don't matter and you basically don't exist, but you still do, and so you're just experiencing the pain of that, or you decide that you want to create positive experiences for yourself where you do matter, where your feelings and emotions are valid, where you have an abundance of choices, where you have the freedom to actually express your soul in this 3D realm, then you can create that. And to create that, it doesn't mean that you passively don't do anything. It means that you do the inner work so that you don't have any hangups, any past issues blocking you from taking that next action step towards your goal, so that you're not inhibited by past patterns, by your old decisions, by things that happened before. And so that in this now moment that you find yourself, you can create the way that a child creates. You can be playful about it. You can create in an unlimited way and say, this is what I want, God, and I'm going to go for it. And you just go, and there's nothing that can stop you. So we want to get to that level of creation where you have the freedom, you have the resources, you have the options to be a fully expressed being the way that God created you to be, a fully expressed organic representative of God on earth, of God through your particular geometric form, through your particular blueprint. God is experiencing itself through you as an extension, and your only job is to be as true to that as possible, even though the ego here can choose otherwise. But we all know what happens when you go outside of what you're naturally meant to do. Bad things happen, negative karma happens, chaos happens. And so this is what we're learning. And it's not to say that you were bad and now you're punished. It's just like there's laws, and you have to work within the laws that exist in this planet. And that's what we're all doing here. We're trying to minimize or understand how you're being sabotaged, in what ways you're being sabotaged, where is your wounding, how does all of this energy play out within yourself, within your life, within the life of your partner. Who is getting sabotaged? Is it you, or is it your partner? Is it the people around you? How are they getting to you? There must be a specific crack within your field. Is it through sexual energy? You can align to the truth of who you are and flow energy vivaciously. Or you can align to whatever and see what happens, and probably run out of fuel at some point and have to do crazy things to get back on track. So right now, I know that we're working with Galactic Team. There's some stuff that I've signed up to do with them, and they are wanting me to wake up specific people that are probably already awake. Maybe we're just trying to get together and unite to create something larger than ourselves. Again, what does the collective energy of all of us wish to expand into? It is about expansion and growth and impact globally, especially if you're one of those souls that was sent here from one of these galactic teams, which you probably are if you're listening to this. So that's what's going on. They're giving me information. The latest was that, you can analyze things from your birth chart, and that the negative ETs are sending people to infiltrate and influence humans to interact in specific ways. Please pay attention to who is entering into your life. And notice if there are patterns, are they coming from one of these negative ET groups? Because I found those patterns within my chart, and I know that they're opposing what I've signed up to do with one particular group, which is obviously more in alignment with what God Source wants. And I'm not saying that these beings control everything and that they are God, because God Source is completely sovereign, right? And we're all coming into ascension with that. Ascension and alignment, which could be completely independent of any of these ET groups. But these groups are influencing Earth, and they are influencing you, and they are influencing the people around you and in your life, and putting you together with others for specific purposes. And I think it's really interesting to figure out what those are, and to bring consciousness to what is really going on in your planet. And not even just for you personally and your particular mission and the way that you are made to impact the world, but if you look at it on a global collective scale, where are the masses of people getting collectively enslaved, collectively subjugated to horrible forms of treatment, I'm thinking about like women in particular parts of the world. Where are these leaks on the planet? And then you want to look at the actual grids, and we can get into grid work, which is something that I'll probably cover on another podcast. But there's lots of different groups, just like there's lots of different ET groups that are trying to help out Earth. There's lots of groups of people on Earth that are trying to help out. And I think it would be so amazing if we can all collaborate, because it's not about us individually on this scale of work. It's about what we can accomplish together. And I know that people are going to have differing opinions on what the real true north node for humanity is, right? Like, where are we all headed, and what true God source is, and what isn't in alignment, which is why a lot of people don't work together. But I want to extend my level of influence and my level of interacting, because I feel like we all have pieces of the puzzle, and we're all meant to do this together, because even though we're having our own individual experience of this reality and we're able to impact it at our individual level, there's something bigger here that collectively we're able to do. And if we can do it, if we can create a heaven on earth, like, why wouldn't we? If we could combine, it's like if we have access to all of the information from different ET groups, and they're all channeling information to whoever will listen. It's like, are you becoming that receiver? Are you becoming that translator of energy? Because I'm not special in that way. Like, they're broadcasting super loud, and it's like, who's hearing? Who's listening? Okay, let's go pay attention over there. This person's listening. And so they'll give more to that person because they're listening. But really, this is getting broadcasted like all over. So just think about how collectively we can work together and be more than what we would be as individual components. What sort of systems can we create together? I'm inviting you to be more than just you doing whatever it is you do. Come join a team. Come join this movement. Think about all of the different ET races that are getting together, all of the different species from different star systems and different constellations working together to help liberate humanity out of this slave matrix, this slave mentality, to help bring us all of this information so that we can wake up and realize that we can create an entirely new world. That we can bring ourselves through ascension, that we can wake up on an entirely different planet, that we can align on such a level that we can literally wake up on a heaven on earth, because it's already within us. We're just transmuting all of the things and all of the layers that are in the way. Think about how important you are, and think about how much more you can expand into. Think about the things that you can't even think about. Just ponder on what lies out there and allow yourself to be inspired by how much you don't yet know, and how much there is to discover, and how much possibility lies in you possibly collaborating with someone else, possibly allowing others to enter your life and expand your horizons, to consider new mindsets, new patterns, new ways of existing, of creating. Just be inspired and create that field of playfulness. Everything is a play. This is a cosmic play. What roles are you playing? What roles are you dying to play? What roles are you done with? Think about that. And as always, let me know your thoughts. Feel free to rate this podcast, send me messages, send me questions. That helps me to be in alignment with my source and truth, which is, I'm really here to be a channel that is of service to you. So whatever your questions are, please send them to me. I'd love to be able to get to them and answer them, maybe collectively or individually. And don't be afraid to join my group, my coaching group. It's online at DharaniAkashic.com. And even to just pop in and say hi, or follow me on Instagram. Let's stay connected. I want this to be a collective community, because I know that we all have pieces of the puzzle, that we all have skills that can be put to use in beautiful ways, so that we can collectively create the type of world that we're happy and excited to live in every single day, where everyone's gifts get to be expressed, where we have autonomy and freedom and time to explore the way that we want to explore, where no one has to be oppressed, where it's not a slave system, where we're all free to create and enjoy the abundance of God's life force flowing through everything. Let's create that world. Let's alchemize everything that needs to be alchemized and transform it the way that it needs to be transformed so that we can bring ourselves to that heaven on earth reality. How can we work together? You let me know, and let me know what else you're interested in me covering on this podcast. If you have questions about Galactic Teams or anything else that's going on. I also want to invite you to join my group coaching program that's on my site, dharaniakashic.com. This is all for you. My role basically in this lifetime is to channel energy for you. So the more questions you have, the better for me, because it helps me to stay in alignment and it helps me to bring you exactly what you need. This has been Unleash Your Cosmic Power with Dharani Akashic, the Galactic Team, and God Source. Thank you so much for joining me on this captivating voyage into the depths of cosmic consciousness. I truly am grateful for each and every one of you who have tuned in and embarked upon this transformative journey with me. I want to extend a heartfelt invitation for you to visit my website, dharaniakashic.com, to explore a wealth of resources designed to support your starseed awakening. As a token of my appreciation, I invite you to download a complimentary meditation that will guide you in connecting with your soul origin family. It's a powerful tool to deepen your understanding and strengthen your cosmic bonds. I know how crucial it is for us to have that connection and heartfelt understanding. So remember, fellow starseeds, you are not alone. Embrace the cosmic connections that await you and continue to nurture the profound awakening within. Together, let us ignite the spark of higher consciousness and create ripples of profound transformation in our lives and in the whole world around us. Until our paths cross again, may the stars illuminate your path and may your journey be filled with love, light, and boundless cosmic wisdom. Thank you for joining me, sending you lots of love and cosmic proportion hugs from your star family in the Council. Stay tuned for your next captivating episode in Unleash Your Cosmic Power.